Ahoy friends, welcome to building the Alpha Dory. I'm Dan and this is a project to build a Chamberlain style racing dory from John Gardner's The Dory Book. Illustrations by Sam Manning. Today we'll be out in the shop and we're going to be doing a lot of rigging work, getting the boat ready to launch this coming weekend. Let's get out there and get to it. Okay, so you all may happen to notice that we're coming along pretty well with the painting. Got a little bit more painting to do, another coat on the floorboards, another coat under the rail there. The seats are looking pretty good. I've got the parts and pieces to the cuddy outside. Those are drying, so those will need another coat or so. But we're pretty much there as far as the paint and whatnot. So today's video is going to be about rigging. So I think I already talked about the bow eye, which is set into the stem. So you actually cut a curve into the planking where it overlaps the oak stem and set this eye back up into that planking so that the base of the eye is just to the sharp edge of the oak stem. Then on the inside, I've cut this eye bolt to length, and we've got one of these special little, instead of a nut, it's a threaded another eye so that you can tie off, say, an anchor line to that on the inside of the boat. So that's in. The other piece of hardware that I've put in, and I don't think I made a video about that, was the stem eye for the forestay. And this does the same thing. You can see this has been filled with glue and sawdust and then faired out. And what this is it's a hole drilled right through the stem and breast hook intersection. Drilled straight through there at the width of the shaft of the eye bolt and out through the stem out here. And then you come back into the back into that hole with a drill that's big enough to allow the nut that goes on the end of that eye bolt, to allow that nut to go back up in below the level of the planking. And you cut off the bolt so that everything's going to be up inside. Then you tighten that bolt down, that eye bolt, and putty over the hole that's left. So this will get painted, and I've sanded it so it's pretty well fair to the hull. So that'll get painted over and pretty much disappear, and you're just left with the eye bolt for the forestay. So that's where we're at there. Now we need to, some of the rigging we're going to do today is the eye bolts for the shrouds. The other thing we need to do, that we really need to do before we launch the boat this coming weekend, is we need to fill up this hole. That is the centerboard pivot bolt. So let's do that, and then if we've got time, we'll put a couple holes in the transom there for a lifting strop, and that lifting strop will also function to hold an oar down tight against the sculling notch if you're backing up sculling, or if you want to steer with that in case of rudder failure or whatever. So we'll see if we can put those in. And the other thing that lifting strop will serve as is a rope traveler for the main sheet block. So yeah, plenty to do. I'm not sure if we'll get to all of that in this video. And then we also need to put in the hardware to hang the rudder. That'll probably be another video. But yeah, let's get to it. Alright, so talking about locating the eye bolts for the shrouds, which are these side stays. They're wires that run from the rail somewhere back here up to the mast and hold the mast up. So the back of the mast is going to be close to close to the front edge of the seat when the mast is in the step. So we'll just call the front edge of the seat the back of the mast. That's important because the boom attaches to the back of the mast. So we'll use this stick, which is approximately the size of the boom, to represent the boom. Now, we want the stays far enough ahead so that we want the stays far enough ahead on the boat so that the boom can swing from the center line of the boat, can swing out to the side when you're going downwind or across the wind to let pressure out of the sail. If you're across the wind, that's how you depower the boat. When you're going downwind, you either want to center line the sail or you have to drop the sail to depower the boat. So the way you get off the accelerator pretty much is coming up into the wind or letting the sail feather into the wind. Now if you don't have stays holding the mast up, you can just let the boom go until the sail flaps like a flag, kind of, sort of. There's some caveats to that which don't make it quite as simple as it sounds, but anyway, neither here nor there. So what we want to do is we want to put the stay somewhere where the boom has enough room to swing out in a generous to a generous angle. But we also want to put the stays far enough back on the rail so that they'll be able to pull back on the mast when the wind is pushing forward on it. So when you're going downwind, the wind is from the stern of the boat and it wants to push the mast over forward. Now the forestay is what keeps the mast from falling back this way. But the fact that the two shrouds are located behind the mast is what keeps the mast from falling over forward. So you can see if the shrouds are here, right directly at the back of the mast, then when the mast tips forward, there's nothing, the shrouds aren't pulling back at all. They're just parallel to the mast. So there's almost nothing keeping the mast from falling forward. So what we want to do is we want to position the shrouds far enough back so that the mast is nice and strong when the wind is pushing this way. But we don't want to place the shrouds so far back that when the boom comes out, it can't swing forward this way, it'll hit the shroud. So it turns out the pretty much ideal spot for the shrouds is somewhere between, well, okay, so then, I'm getting ahead of myself. So the triangle between the three stays is what keeps the mast up. So these boards here here's the forestay, and then the shrouds are going to be somewhere back here. And depending on where that shroud is located, say it's here, that's the triangle, the line of tension, the line of force that is keeping the mast up. That's the width of these two boards that I've got here laid out. The width of those two boards is basically like the footprint of the triangle that keeps the mast up. And it's those guy wires that are keeping it up. So the further you move you're able to move the anchor point for the stay, further you're able to move it out, the wider that triangle gets, and the more stable your mast becomes. Now you can see if you keep moving the shroud back, eventually it becomes narrower again, on the hull, so you're actually losing strength. So there's sort of a perfect, an ideal location that kind of balances all those things. And it's going to be somewhere between 12 and 14 inches back from the front edge of this seat here. So yeah, what we'll do is we'll locate that point on one side of the boat, and then we'll use a tape measure from the forestay location to locate the same distance on the other side of the boat. All right, so I'll take my old carpenter's square. Yeah, this one's really an old one. Got some age to it. To the point where it can be a little difficult to read at times. Okay, so here's 12. I'll just mark that so I got a little bit. Alright, so let's see what 12 inches will look like. Yeah, that would put us here. And 14 inches. Alright. I have to get the sandpaper out here. Do a little cleanup on this thing so I can see what's going on. I'm usually just using this to square stuff. I'm usually not Okay, so here's 14. See where that puts us. Yeah, I think I like, I'm liking the 14 mark here. So, yeah, let's see how that looks as far as the angle. So the boom will be able to swing out to here, whereas if you're at 12, it's swinging out to here. And 12 is probably plenty, so yeah, I'm thinking let's go with the 12 after all. You know, we checked the 14 at least, and so I'll measure this, you know, just the same on the other side as I did on this side. And then we'll get the same measurement for both. And you can see there's very little change in the angle in the width of the base of the triangle from here to there. So with 12 you go out a tiny bit, like maybe pick up a half an inch on the width of the base there, but that's not really a big, appreciable difference. So, but at least we've checked that, because there is a change in the width. Alright, and so I've got this marked. Now I'll measure the same way on the other side. Same manner of measurement. And I'll mark this. And then I'll, just for giggles, I'm going to compare this to I'm going to compare this with a rule, with a tape measurement to the bow eye, to the forestay, and we'll see how close the seat is to being parallel across the boat. I think it's going to be pretty close. I really don't know what it would matter one way or the other, which one you should measure to. I can't think of. It would probably make a lot of sense just to measure to the seat, regardless of what the distances were like, because your eye will probably pick up on a distance from the seat easier than a distance from the bow eye. So this is 6 foot 5 inches. And here we've got 6 foot 5 1/4 inches. So that's pretty good. Close enough. I'm measuring with my Starrett tape measure, made in Western Massachusetts. Alright, so we got the measurement location for the chain plates, the eyes. Now we'll put them in. And I'm going to go in 2 inches from the edge of the rail. Oh, wait a minute. Hang on a second. No, I'm going 2 inches from the edge of this rail. That was it. 2 inches from the inside, because I know that this is a 3/4 inch inner rail already. So I want to ease to the outside of the rail whenever possible. I'm going to give this nice quick little dunk in some super delicious what do you call it? What the heck is that stuff? Like, for some reason the word just is not coming to my brain at the moment. Alright, and then I'll orient this. I'll orient the eye bolt fore and aft along the rail. Wipe up the oil. Penetrol, that's it. It's specifically for use on iron and galvanized hardware. It's pretty much a linseed oil based. Grab the I got a good size washer on that on the back side. So I don't want to over tighten this, like I don't want to tear into the rail, but I want to make sure it's nice and snug, and that's good. Alright, so we'll do the same on the other side, and we'll have the shroud, the stays attached. If you didn't have some nice big Galvy washers to put on these, you definitely want to put additional backing blocks on. These are going through about 2 inches of rail as it is, so I think we're probably pretty good that way. But yeah, if there was any question as to the thickness of the rail meat you're going through, you definitely, no reason to skimp. And these rails are nailed in, glued directly into the into both the rail here, the cap, and the planking. So yeah, got plenty of pressure there. And now we'll just clean it up. Alright, so now we're back at the transom. And so I've got a bronze nail, ring nail here, 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 and here. So we don't want to go through those. So if I drill at, let's see, 2 inches and 2 inches, that's going to give me a nice positioning for the lifting strap. So let's do that, and we'll drill at right angles to the transom face. So we'll be coming out down here and down here, either side of the eye bolt that's going to hold the rudder. But we'll be plenty far enough away from the rudder where we'll have room to tie a knot, a stopper knot. I just felt the blade come out the far side, so I want to come back around this way, put the tip of the drill in, and that way I don't get a big bust out, a breakout when the drill goes through. Gotta be pretty sensitive to feel that. To feel when that's going to go through, you know, take your time, and when you think you're getting close. Got it? There it goes. Pushed the cutout right up through. All right, so yeah, now we'll grab some sandpaper. Just knock the edge off of each of those. Then we'll vacuum out the detritus, and we'll be ready to hit these with a coat of paint. Yeah, just enough to take the edge off. Found my roll of electrical tape. I was looking for that earlier today. Alright, and then I'll hit the back side of those with the sandpaper as well. Thanks so much for stopping by Building the Alpha Dory. Yeah, massive thank you to everyone who's taken the time to comment, like and subscribe, and yeah, huge thank you to everybody who's stopped by the shop to drop off tools they thought I might use, and all kinds of little odds and ends and whatnot, and you know, just to stop by and chat. So anyhow, yeah, I look forward to seeing everybody next episode and out on the water sometime real soon.